Darren, go ahead.
Hi, Danny. Hi, Owen. You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Great stuff. Owen, I think if I can, the first thing to ask is just as professional cricketers, professional sportsmen, just how important is it to be playing international cricket right now?
I think it's huge. I mentioned it during the summer. I think as a sportsman or even an international sportsman or sports person, there are very few times that you play sport or contribute to things when people actually really need it. And I went through this experience myself towards the back end of our first lockdown period when sport just started to be reintegrated into people's TVs at home. And the smile it put on my face, the smile it put on certainly the community that I live in was outstanding. I think given the circumstances, how bad they still are, probably particularly at home, it's important for us to go out there and hopefully put on a bit of a show, because it certainly, a lot of people around the world are going through different challenges at this moment in time, but certainly sport can help relieve that a little bit.
I know in terms of this time round, we're well used to COVID bubbles in sport, but also cricket had a particular particular way of doing it. How's it working out in South Africa for you? We understand the South Africans are almost in two separate camps. How are you finding the COVID integration or lack of it is working for you?
Yeah, I think it always presents different challenges. I think different countries prepare in different ways. I think during the summer we did a magnificent job in, I suppose, not having any cases at all. We felt in a very privileged position not to have to worry about the virus in our bubble. And I suppose this has presented different challenges. South Africa had two cases. One was off-site, one was on-site in a hotel, which presented a different challenge. And I suppose very similarly in the summer, if we had a case, we needed to be able to demonstrate that we could contain it to make every team and every player within that bubble secure and safe. And South Africa have seemed to do that so far.
Oh, and another thing that obviously happened over the summer as well, not apart from COVID, so much was influenced by obviously the massive around George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter. How challenging was it a decision not to take the knee this time round? Obviously in conjunction with South Africa, but can you explain some of the decision making and sort of the conversations you've had around with South Africa with that one? Because it's a very, very difficult subject matter to get appropriately right for many people.
Yeah, certainly from our side of things, towards the end of the summer, I mean, I suppose from the beginning right through till the end, as a team, as a squad, across all three formats, we spoke about how we can create meaningful change over a period of time that's extremely authentic to every player and staff member within our group, to make it feel like we have a share in it. Because when we put our weight behind something or our voice behind it, we feel that it's extremely powerful. Now, over the course of the summer and since then, we've had continuous chats both with ECB and outside charities and communities to try and find where we're best placed to try and be as effective as we can, to try and create more sort of inclusion within society and how cricket can affect that, and us as cricketers, where we stand. And I think every player has a different story, particularly within our group, given how diverse it is. And they want their own story to be replicated in how we feel that we can affect or impact the world in a really strong way. So our piece is a bit more of a work in progress. It is making a lot of progress at the moment, and I don't think we're far away from doing something. Obviously, the South Africans' decision to do that as well, and actually while I was at the IPL, speaking to other teams who are doing similar things in their own countries, particularly Australia, reconnecting with the Aboriginal community is something that they feel is at the forefront. Is nice to see.
Yeah. Just a couple of quick questions, if I may, on the cricket itself. Enough practice? You know, we saw the practice match between, you know, Team Morgan, Team Butler. I know you explained why it's just important these matches are happening, but have you had enough practice of batsmen, bowlers, fielders? Are you in the right place for an international fixture?
Yeah, we are. We've had a lot of guys come down from the IPL that had enough time at home, or they holidayed wherever it might have been. So guys feel both rested and ready to go, but also guys who have had a prolonged rest are also very keen to get going. So I think given that stuff, I know we're back.
No, you're back. Yeah.
Given that white ball series, the preparation is always quite short and sharp. We feel as if we've been best placed, really. We've enough players here to play an extremely competitive 2 warm-up games, where on paper the sides are extremely strong. But I think guys are as best prepared as they could be.
Just a final question for me, just in terms of the strength of the South African. We know the confidence you have in your ability and your players' abilities. Just in terms of the test you expect from South Africa, you know, what do you expect from the series? You know, both T20 and the ODI.
Yeah, I think extremely competitive series. It's not that long ago since we were down here and again drawing the ODI series and just narrowly winning the T20 series. I think everything points towards an extremely competitive, well-fought series.
Eoin, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Gary.
My Wi-Fi's gone down, but I'm going to hand over to Dean Wilson to ask the next question. I think it's working. Is it all still coming through okay? Yeah,
coming through my end.
Go ahead, Dean.
Thanks, Danny. Hi, Eoin. Have you got a team for us for tomorrow?
No team, I'm afraid, Dino.
What's the delay on that? What are you mulling over before the game? What's the choices you've got to make?
It's the balance of the side. If the wicket will change overnight, the weather is set fair. It's sunny outside at the moment. It's due to be very similar tomorrow. I want to wait and see if he takes more grass off the wicket. As there's only 1 wicket prepared out here, we're probably going to be on the same wicket in the 3rd game. So I don't know if he's leaving grass on with that in view, or if it gets hotter or windier, is he going to cover it? We'll have to wait.
In your mind, do you know what your best T20 team is at the moment? Obviously, there's been a lot of players who've been rested over the last few years due to the priority of 50-over cricket. Now, T20 seems to be the central white ball game. Do you know what your best team is, and do you anticipate that this series will kind of clear that up in your mind?
I don't think it will clear it up. But, the honest answer is we don't know our best 11 yet. There are probably 7-8 guys who are pretty strong candidates to be in our playing 11. But I think the strength of the squad that we've selected, the reserves that we have here, and given it's the first time in a long time we've had our full strength available side for selection, it makes it really exciting. Ben was missing in the summer, but I think playing against Australia, given the side that we did, was very strong. But Ben obviously adds a huge amount to that as well. But no is the answer. I don't know our best 11.
And just a final one for me. You said that you want to put on a show, that it's important for sport on TV to do that. Are you pretty excited about the number of entertainers that you've got in your team? Yeah.
Training here the last couple of days has been very exciting, but also very dangerous. I mean, you look down the order of potential 11s that we could put out, and sometimes all 11 can hit sixes, sometimes it's only the top 10, but you look at the batting order, very, very exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go with Jonathan Agnew, please.
Thank you. Morning, Owen, and morning, everybody. Hope you're all fit and well. Owen, just one. We're obviously very excited now about the vaccine and so on. Is there? Have you got in your mind this could be the last of these? I mean, no one's too sure about what the fixtures might be over the coming weeks and months, but could this be the last time, do you think, that you do have to actually go through this bubbling and no crowds and so on? And if so, what do you think about that?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And given obviously the news about the vaccine, it's going to be a considerable amount of time before actually the people who need it get it, and then actually, there are certain circumstances which determine whether you actually need it or not. Just because it's available to you doesn't necessarily mean that you should have it or take it. And I think we're in that position. I think we're well down the pecking order of people that should be prioritised, or certainly within the first 6 months be looked at in getting it. So I don't see this changing, certainly before the start of our summer, but potentially for our summer.
Okay, thanks. Good luck. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Agus. Thanks.
Okay, John Etheridge.
Morning, Owen. Hi. You said that practice sessions are quite dangerous. Can you explain why that is? Is it because the balls are just flying everywhere?
Yeah, well, so our training the last 2 days have been obviously brilliant. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures, but we have open nets on the square here at Newlands that have no roof on the net. So guys are trying to hit it into stand pretty much every second ball. And the nets have been pointed towards the changing room and the dugout where a lot of our stuff is. So it's been dangerous.
Are the guys warned to sort of keep their eyes open pretty much all the time?
All the time. Absolutely all the time.
And whose job is it to go and get the balls?
I think we guys just take turns. If you come out of the net, normally guys stand at the end of the boundary to pick them up. Some of the support staff, if they're not doing anything, help out. But I think everybody does.
Yeah, and just on the sort of the power and skill in the batting unit, Jason Roy yesterday described it as frightening. Is that one of your trickiest decisions, really? How to fit all the guys in, or as many of the guys in as possible, and in what order as well?
I think to start with, you need to try and figure out what your best 6 or 7 batsmen are, and then the challenge within that is getting them in roles where that best suits them and best suits the team, but also gives you the best chance of winning the game. So those are the challenges.
Would it be Joss and Jason who are open tomorrow, for example?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Okay, we're going to go with Rory, and then we'll take a couple more. Ali Martin after that.
Hi, Owen. Jofra has only played 4 T20s for England because of the various, needing rest and stuff for other formats. But clearly, it's the format that he's had the most experience in his career. And if we look at the IPL winning the MVP award, it's a format that he's really got his game together on that. Just wonder how exciting for you now, knowing over the next year in T20 cricket, you're going to probably have Jofra, and how much that improves your T20 team.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best in the world. He's just coming back off the MVP in the IPL, so he's incredible to have around. I don't think we'll have him that often in between now and the World Cup. I think certainly one of the series that are going to be more relevant to have as close to full strength as possible is going to be India, if it is in India. Obviously trying to replicate the World Cup, but the challenge of him trying to commit to all, even if you said play all of the tests and all of the T20s, I think that's too much of a challenge for guys playing all 3 formats at the moment, given that we don't know circumstances around getting in and out of bubbles or getting home or getting family on tour with you. It just creates a different challenge. So one of our challenges is just trying to get him into a headspace where he's enjoying his cricket while he's with us, and trying to make the most of the opportunity while he's with us.
Okay, we'll go with Ali, and then we'll finish with Will McPherson.
Hi, Owen. Good to see you. I'm just wondering, is one of the decisions you've got to make around the number 7 position? And I guess coming into that would be Sam Curran or Moeen Ali. How much of a factor is past success, which Moeen has, or future challenges such as the World T20 in India, where you might need the extra spinner? But then how much of it is down to form, which probably Sam has the edge on here, and possibly conditions as well, if there is grass left on the wicket?
Yeah, I think all of the above, Ali. I think we're playing what we think is our best 11 to beat South Africa here and now. I also think looking ahead to the World Cup, we will need the option of 2 spinners, but also if we have the luxury of 2 all-rounders in a side in Ben and Sam, that's huge. I think coming off the back of the IPL, Sam has certainly grown in confidence, probably even more so with the bat than the ball. But he was certainly thrown in all sorts of circumstances and had all sorts of challenges, but came out the other side glowing, which is great and obviously very difficult to do in a side that really didn't compete at all over there. So he's grown a huge amount in confidence, but certainly when it comes to selection, we'll be selected based on who we think is best to win this.
Thanks.
And Will McPherson.
Hi, Owen. In terms of lessons learned from the 2015 to 19 ODI project, this is obviously a shorter period, but how important do you think sort of a winning habit is building up towards a big tournament, or is it at this stage a little bit about just learning? If you don't win this series, but you do learn sort of about certain positions and get closer to learning your best side, is that equally important? How do you see that balance?
Yeah, I actually think I'd probably say it's more important. I think winning at the moment it would be great, but for us, given the luxury in players that we have at our disposal, it's more important that we get their roles right and they feel comfortable within that. Because I think if we manage to solve that problem, the results will look after itself. So the process of going through what's best for our team and best for our players to try and beat the opposition is extremely important.
Okay, we're done. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers, Owen.
I was going to say...